morning. It's Reflection Tuesday, May 26. The Gospel today is John 17, 1 through 11, and it says, Jesus raised his eyes to heaven and said, Father, the hour has come. Give glory to your Son, so that your Son may glorify you, just as you gave him authority over all people, so that your Son may give eternal life to all you gave him. Now this is eternal life, that they should know you, the only true God, and the one whom you sent, Jesus Christ. I glorified you on earth by accomplishing the work that you gave me to do. Now glorify me, Father, with you, with the glory that I had with you before the world began. I revealed your name to those whom you gave me out of the world. They belong to you, and you gave them to me, and they kept your word. Now they know that everything you gave me is from you, because the words you gave to me I have given to them, and they accepted them and truly understood that I came from you, and they have believed that you sent me. I pray for them. I do not pray for the world, but for the ones you have given me, because they are yours, and everything of mine is yours, and everything of yours is mine, and I have been glorified in them. And now I will no longer be in the world, but they are in the world while I am coming to you. There's so many questions for us personally from today's gospel. Jesus says to the Father, I glorified you on earth by accomplishing the work that you gave me to do. Now that might sound a little strange to us because we know what comes next for Jesus is the cross. But you'll notice that on the way to the cross, he didn't abruptly stop short, with a voice coming out of heaven saying, okay, Jesus, that's enough. You don't need to do this. You've made your point. That didn't happen. By going to the cross, Jesus showed that there was nothing that the love of God was not prepared to do for you. Literally, there's no limit. Jesus didn't draw a line in the sand and say to his Father, okay, I'm done. That's all I'm going to do for you. This brings to mind several interesting questions in this gospel. First question, concerning God, where do you and I draw the line? Or do you draw the line where you say to God, that's far enough. I've made my point. That's all I'm going to do for you. Second question, what is it that God has given you to do? Jesus completed the work given to him. And in finishing, he points to his disciples as proof that he's finished. Now they're responsible for passing on that gift of self, which they learned from Christ. This ongoing presence of Christ's love among the disciples, among us, is what glorifies Christ. So if we are responsible for his ongoing loving gift of self to others, what is it that God has given you to do? What is your job from God? Third question, how does your life honor God? The way Jesus glorifies God is by doing what the Father asked him to do. Humanly speaking, I suppose he could have said, Jerusalem? Scourging? Crucifixion? Nah. He turns and walks away. Instead, he brings honor to his Father through his obedience. So how does your life honor God? Fourth question, what does God think about you? The Father points to his Son, bloody on the cross, and says, this is what men think about my Son. Then he points to the resurrection and ascension and says, this is what I think about my Son. He's glorified at my right hand. When God points at you and says, this is what I think about, you, what do you think he'll say? What do you hope he says? And finally, as Christians, we try to follow in the disciples' footsteps. Jesus had 11 ordinary guys, and with these people, he changed the world. He put his trust in ordinary people. He puts his trust in us. The Father sent Jesus. Jesus sends us. So the last question is, do you have any doubt in your mind that you're supposed to play an active part in God's plan? So many good questions from today's gospel. Just a quick recap. First question, concerning God, do you ever draw the line and say, that's enough. I've made my point. That's all I'm going to do for you. Number 2, what is it that God has given you to do? What is your God job? Number 3, how does your life honor God? Number 4, when God points at you, what will he say he thinks about you? What do you hope he says? And the last, do you have the slightest doubt at all that you're supposed to play a part in God's plan? Great reflection questions from today's gospel. Peace be with you. Stay safe and healthy. I'd appreciate it if you would share this reflection if you think it will do someone some good or help in some way. And I will see you next week.